The Turkish Radio and Television Corporation, also known as TRT, is the national public broadcaster of Turkey and was founded in 1964. Around 70% of TRT's funding comes from a tax levied on electricity bills and a sales tax on television and radio receivers, as these are hypothecated taxes as opposed to the money coming from general government funds. The principle is similar to that of the television license levied in a number of other countries. The rest of TRT's funding comes from government grants, with the final 10% coming from advertising. Affectionately known to local consumers as the school, it was for many years the only television and radio provider in Turkey. Before the introduction of commercial radio in 1990, and subsequently commercial television in 1992, it held a monopoly on broadcasting. More recent deregulation of the Turkish television broadcasting market produced analog cable television. Today, TRT broadcasts around the world, especially in Europe, Asia, Africa and Australia. TRT's predecessor, Türkiye Radyoları, was one of 23 founding broadcasting organizations of the European Broadcasting Union in 1950. It would return to the EBU fold as TRT in 1972. The original company started radio test broadcasts in 1926, with a studio built in Istanbul in 1927 and a studio in Ankara following in 1928. It organized the Eurovision Song Contest 2004. History. Test transmissions started on TRT1 on January 31, 1968. A full national television schedule, which at the time linked the areas in and around Ankara, Istanbul, and Izmir, started in December 1971. TRT renewed its membership in the European Broadcasting Union starting on August 26, 1972, with Turkey's first Eurovision network event, a football match, airing across Europe on January 13, 1973. TRT also joined the Asia-Pacific Broadcasting Union in 1976. The same year, the first color television test was showcased via laboratory at the General Assembly of the Organization of the Islamic Conference. All programming was in black and white from the start of test transmissions in 1968 until the New Year's Eve programming on December 31, 1981, when the first on-air color tests started. The entire lineup switched to color on March 15, 1984. On May 19, 2012, TRT1 HD started simulcasting with TRT1 upscaled to Full HD 16:9 DVB-S2 standard television channels. All television channels can be watched via Turksat satellite in Europe, in Asia, and terrestrial in Turkey and neighboring countries. Some of them are also found on cable TV systems. Domestic TRT1 General Entertainment Channel with a broad schedule featuring local and foreign series, Turkish and Hollywood cinema, live shows with Turkish folk music, Turkish classical music and pop music, live sport, news and current affairs plus special events such as the Eurovision Song Contest. TRT Harbor, news and current affairs, sports news and weather. TRT Sport, live and archive sport including Formula 1, World and European Figure Skating Championships, World and European Athletics Championships, Turkish Women's Volleyball League, U18 Basketball plus feature programs. When Parliament is in session, TRT3 relays live coverage of the Turkish National Assembly. TRT Kokuk, children's programming, animated programs and educational programs. The station time shares for most of the day with TRT OKUL, which signs on in the prime time hours. TRT Anadolu, broadcasting with regional TV channels of Turkey. TRT-6 channel in Kurdish language. TRT-L Turkiye broadcasts 24 hours a day in Arabic language with programs aimed at Arabs in Turkey, as well as the wider Arab world and Middle East. TRT Music 24-hour music channel with Turkish folk and classical music. It also airs pop, rock, jazz and ethnic music. TRT Belgisal 24-hour documentary channel. TRT OKUL 24-hour educational channel. TRT HD high-definition television channel of TRT broadcasting several programs from the other TRT channels in HD format. TRT 4K Ultra HD television channel of TRT. This is the first 4K television channel in Turkey. International TRT Turk. International news, current affairs, documentaries and cultural programming aimed at both Turks and Turkish-speaking audience living abroad. It's the first TRT channel to make extensive use of a private production company for news programming. TRT AVAZ international channel aimed at the Turkish republics and Turks living in the Balkans. The channel has a focus on entertainment and documentaries as opposed to TRT Turk's new focus on news. Programs are broadcast in a mixture of languages including Turkish, Azeri, Kazakh, Uzbek and Turkmen. TRT World international news, current affairs, documentaries and cultural programming in English for international audiences. Minority languages. TRT has a special TV channel for Kurdish that broadcasts on a 24-hour, 7-day basis called TRT-6 and other TV and radio stations that broadcast programs in the local languages and dialects like Armenian, Arabic, Bosnian and Circassian a few hours a week. Another special TV channel aimed at the Turkish world, TRT AVAZ, was launched on the 21st of March 2009 and broadcasts in the Azeri, Bosnian, Kazakh, Kyrgyz, Uzbek and Turkmen languages, while the TRT Arabic television channel started broadcasting on the 4th of April 2010. Teletext and EPG. TRT started teletext trial runs with the name Telegun on December 3, 1990. All TV channels are broadcasting the teletext. An online interface is available. 6 channels are also broadcasting the programs with the electronic program guide. Celebration. In January 2008, TRT celebrated the 40th anniversary. All TRT channels broadcast the old idents and news studio. Each day new idents were made. This event also happened in 1978, 1988 and 1998. In 2018, they will have the bigger 50th anniversary celebration. Closing and opening times throughout the years. The 31st of January 1968, TRT-1 launched at 1915 and closed at 2051. 1970, TRT-1 launched at 1900 and closed at 2200. 1975, TRT-1 weeknights launched at 1900 and closed at 2300 and weekends launched at 1800 and closed at midnight. 1981, TRT-1 weeknights launched at 1945 and closed at 2300. Saturdays launched at 1700 and closed at 2340 and Sundays launched at 10 a.m. and closed at 2300. 1984, TRT-1 weeknights launched at 1900 and closed at 2300. Saturdays launched at 1730 and closed at midnight and Sundays launched at 1400 and closed at midnight. 1986, TRT-1 closed at midnight, TRT-2 at 2330. 1987, TRT-1 and TRT-2 closed at 2330. 1988, TRT-1 closed at 1 a.m., TRT-2 at midnight. 1989, TRT-1 closed at 1 a.m., TRT-2 and TRT-3 at midnight. 1990 TRT1 close at 1 a.m., TRT2 and TRT3 at midnight, TRT4 at 23:30. 1992 TRT1 close at 2 a.m., TRT2 at 1 a.m., TRT3 at midnight, TRT4 at 23:30. 1993 TRT2 at 1 a.m., TRT3 at midnight, TRT4 at 23:30. 1997 TRT1 and 2 close at 2 a.m., TRT3 and 4 at midnight. 2002 TRT1 and AMP2 open 24/7. 3 and 4 open 7 o'clock to 0:30. Since 2010 all channels 24/7 and TRT Gap, TRT Sport, TBMM TV couples are exception, but in whole couples they broadcast 24/7 too. Closing parenthesis. Radio channels. Radio 1 spoken word programs including culture, arts, drama, news, science, society, education and history. TRT-FM, a mixture of Turkish pop, folk and classical music, foreign pop, call-ins, news and travel information. Radio 3 classical music, jazz, world music, foreign pop and amp rock. Radio 4 Turkish classical and Turkish folk music. Radio 6 broadcasting in Kurdish language for Kurds in Turkey. TRT Nagmi, Turkish classical music. TRT Avrupa FM, broadcasting for Turks in Europe. TRT Turku, Turkish folk music and Turku, Voice of Turkey, broadcasting with 26 different languages and around the world. Regional channels. Antalya Radio Arzu, broadcasting in Antalya, coverages West Mediterranean region, Turkey. Çukurova Radio Arzu, broadcasting in Mersin, coverages East Mediterranean region, Turkey. Erzurum Radio Arzu, broadcasting in Erzurum, coverages Eastern Turkey. Trabzon Radio Arzu, broadcasting in Trabzon, coverages northern Turkey. Radio Gap, broadcasting in Diyarbakir, coverages southeastern Turkey. Urban radio channels. Kent Radio Istanbul, Kent Radio Ankara, Kent Radio Izmir.